Hey girls, how are you? Are you feeling impatient, nervous, excited, or anxious about your 2-week wait symptoms? Probably that's why you clicked on this video to see. I know when about a year and a half ago, I was on my TTC journey, I was just watching all the YouTube videos I could possibly find on the 2-week wait to see if, what symptoms other women were having, were they like mine, were they not like mine? Because when you're waiting for your big BFP, those 14 days can feel like just forever, and you are looking for any signs to show whether you are pregnant or not. So I just wanted to make a little video and contribute to that, tell you about the symptoms that I had, and hopefully that will help you on your journey as well. Okay, so I ovulated on cycle day 13, and the way I knew that I ovulated, I'll make another video that you can watch another time when you know you ovulated. But as far as my 1 DPO or 1 days past ovulation, symptoms I had diarrhea, I was extremely tired, I was fatigued, I had a headache, bloating, I had cramps, I had backache, I was vomiting, nausea, like everything you name it. Just kidding. I had 0 symptoms 1 day past ovulation. So I had nothing. Nothing was eventful on DPO 1. It was just like every other day. So my DPO 2, I had a slight temperature rise, about 2 degrees, which is quite normal. If you're just ovulated and the egg is gone, your temperature is going to increase. So that was not a significant symptom, but it did go up. So that means I definitely had ovulated. And I feel like my nipples were slightly sensitive. And I remember just laying on the bed and writing in my journal and feeling like I was laying on my belly, right? And just being like, do you feel a little sensitive? And then I didn't know, am I just imagining this kind of symptom because I'm hoping that I'm pregnant? But I did write that down as one of my symptoms for my DPO2. Okay, 3 DPO, I had 0 symptoms whatsoever. But let's do a quick trivia. Myth or fact, you can get your menstrual period even though you are pregnant. That is a myth. It's scientifically impossible for you to get your menstrual period if you are pregnant. However, you can have some light bleeding or some spotting because you are pregnant. So if you'd like me to do a short video on that, write that in the comments below and let me know. So my 4th DPO, I had some diarrhea. I had the runs. Now, we were in Phuket, Thailand at this time, and the night before that we had eaten at this Thai restaurant, and I had some pad Thai which had bean sprouts, raw bean sprouts on it, which I heard can give you the runs because it can easily have bacteria if it's not properly cooked, which they were raw, and I ate a ton of them. So I'm not sure if it was actually a pregnancy symptom, like I had the runs from that, or if it was just from the pad Thai that I ate. I have no idea, but I did have it pretty bad in the morning. Another thing was, and I'm just checking my notes, that's why I'm looking down, was that my temperature had risen up 6 degrees higher. But again, that's totally normal. Whether I was pregnant or not, my temperature should have risen up that much anyway. 5 DPO. I did not have any pregnancy-like symptoms that was obvious. The only thing I can think of at this time was that I was checking everyone's 2-week wait videos, and I was seeing a lot of women who were like having all the symptoms in the book, and I was at day 5, and I'm like, I mean, I had a couple symptoms here and there, like the runs, but then my nipples weren't even sensitive anymore. So I was thinking maybe I'm not pregnant. Okay, just keep that in mind. Okay, 6 DPO. This is when things started to get interesting. So at night I was waking up like every single hour, which normally I wake up, maybe 2 or 3 times a night to use the toilet or to change position or flip my pillow. But I was waking up like 1 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m., 5 a.m., 6 a.m., 7, 8 a.m. And I have no idea, at that time, I have no idea why. Like, so That was one symptom that I had, was I was just waking up frequently through the night. Another interesting symptom was my body. I had like body aches, and it kind of felt like I was coming down with something. So I thought, okay, maybe I caught like a cold or a flu. But the other symptom that I remember, and this just sticks out in my head as being probably the first positive sign that I was pregnant, was I had lower backache. Like, it started midday, and then towards the end of the day it just got worse and worse and worse, like major lower backache. And I don't get lower backache ever. I think the last time I got lower backache was like months and months ago, when I was eating a terrible diet full of sugar and carbs, and you know, my period was about to start, and that was a period symptom, that was a PMS symptom. But here I am mid-cycle, like my period is not due until another week, and I was getting lower backache, and I was eating a super healthy diet, and I had not had that PMS symptom for months. So I thought, So I went online and I was checking other women, is lower backache a symptom of pregnancy? And here's what I found, was some women said yes, they had lower backache and they got their BFP. Other women said they had lower backache and they still got their period anyway, so that did not help. But in my case, it was definitely a positive sign that I was pregnant. Another interesting thing was my palm right here felt sore. And I thought that was really odd. And so when I looked online about your palm here is connected with your thyroid, and they said when you're pregnant, your thyroid enlarges because of the increase in hormones. So that was another interesting symptom that I had. 7 DPO, again, I was waking up almost every single hour throughout the night. So for 6 DPO at 7, I couldn't even take my BBT accurately because I was just kept waking up. So I have no idea what my temperature really was. Another thing was I woke up with a mild cold. So remember I talked about my body aches from before, and I thought maybe I was coming down with something. Well, I did come down with something, but I just took some vitamin C. And at that time, I wrote in my journal that I wasn't sure, is this a pregnancy symptom, or is it because the day before I was hanging out with friends and someone had a runny nose and they kept grabbing my hand, so I thought, oh, maybe I just picked up the cold from them. But later I read that you can get a cold while you're pregnant, actually during implantation, because your immune system is lower, because your body is focused on implanting. So you're focused on getting this little bean to make it a nice little home in your uterus, right? So it's not worried about fighting off any kinds of viruses or bugs around you. So that was quite interesting. At the time, I wasn't really sure what it could all mean, but in the end, I was pregnant. 8 DPO. So I don't feel like I'm pregnant. Am I supposed to feel like I'm pregnant? I slept great through the night, so I wasn't waking up like before. My cold went away. No backache. No symptoms that were noticeable. In fact, I had high energy the whole day, and I was not hungry the whole day either. Which I've seen a lot of other women say they're like starving and they can't eat enough food. I think I didn't eat anything really until about 5 p.m., which then I was hungry because I hadn't eaten all day. One thing I did notice is I had a dream. It was a really vivid pregnancy dream. So in my dream, I dreamt that my mother-in-law had found out the gender of the baby before I knew it, and then it was a girl, and there was something wrong with the baby, and so they wanted to put me on this special diet, and I was protesting that. And then I turned to my husband, because we wanted a boy, and said, well, at least we have lots of girl names to choose from. So I had this super vivid pregnancy dream. 9 DPO. This is a really, really interesting pregnancy symptom that I had. I woke up with 2 beads of sweat that dripped down my forehead just like that. Never happened in my entire life. Just 2, literally from here to here. That's what happened. And let's see what else. I also felt that my girls were a little bit fuller. And what else did I write down? I had some light cramping, and my poop was not beautiful. It was kind of like this. 10 DPO. Again, I had that 2 drops of sweat when I woke up, and the rest of my body was fine. I was not sweating anywhere else. We had the air conditioning on. Just 2 little drops of sweat. Boom, boom, that's it. In fact, only those 2 days I had that. Another thing was I had the high energy again. So a lot of women say they're super fatigued. That was not me. I had so much energy, I didn't even know what to do with myself. And again, I had not much of an appetite. Didn't want to eat all day long until the very end of the day. And then when I ate, I felt super full. All right, 11 DPO. Here was another really big indicator that I was definitely pregnant. I had shortness of breath, which I have never had in my entire life up to this point. So what I was doing, it was the morning, I was taking my laundry from the laundry room, and then I was walking to my room to where I'd fold the laundry and put it away, right? And as I was doing that, walking back and forth and talking, I had shortness of breath. And I remember stopping and thinking, am I really having shortness of breath? Like, this is weird and interesting and exciting at the same time, because I know that that can be a sign of pregnancy. And like I said, I never had that before in my life. Other things that happened on 11 DPO was I got my appetite back. In fact, I wanted to put pickles in my curry, which is a really weird combination. Like, who does that? But I remember opening up the fridge and seeing the pickles and like, that sounds really good. And then later in the evening, I asked my husband to take me to McDonald's because I specifically wanted a cheeseburger. Nothing else. I didn't want the drink, no milkshake. I didn't even want fries. I just wanted a McDonald's cheeseburger, like I had an actual legit craving. So that was quite interesting. And my husband turned to me and he says, "You must be pregnant," because I never would randomly at night ask him to go through McDonald's, right? Also my energy had dropped. So it started to go down. I felt a little bit tired. I wouldn't say I was fatigued or anything. Oh, another thing I forgot to mention just now in 11 DPO was I had spotting. Now, for me, spotting right before my period is normal. Like, I've had that for probably over a year, usually 3 or sometimes 4 days before I'll get my period. I'll have spotting that progresses up to my period, and that's a sign of low progesterone. So there was a lot of stuff I had been doing nutritionally to kind of balance out my hormones, and I will make another video on that later if you guys are interested in seeing that. So for me, I was kind of like, oh, maybe my period is coming. Maybe I'm not pregnant after all. But the spotting only happened one time that whole day. So it was just like one time it was there, and then after that, there was no more spotting, which can be a sign of implantation bleeding. 12 DPO, I had spotting again, but again, it was just one time through the whole day, and it was very, very light. And what else? My symptoms were like I had a bit of backache, just like a little bit, and some mild cramping on and off. So these are all signs that you could also have your period coming. So I wasn't sure. At this point, I was about 50-50. Pregnant or I'm not pregnant. All right, 13 DPO. I had no spotting, which meant that the bleeding that I had the previous 2 days was actually implantation bleeding. Huge sign that I was actually pregnant. And I think 13 DPO was the day when I was like, I mean, if the previous Sunday where I had shortness of breath did not convince me that I was pregnant, this Sunday definitely I was pregnant. I remember I was sitting down and I could my nipples were so sensitive, like I could feel my bra pressing on. I'm just sitting there like this, not doing anything. And that's never happened before in my life. Like, some women, they have sensitive nipples right before they get their period. No, not me. I've never had that problem. So I was sitting there and they were just very very aware of them. And it kind of was slightly in the beginning of the day, and it just got increased more and more and more towards the end of the day. Again, I had a little bit more backache and some mild cramping. All right, so that's it for this video. So just to recap, I think the most obvious signs that I was indeed pregnant was the first one, the lower backache. Second one was the shortness of breath. And the third one was the sensitive nipples. So those are definitely 3 signs that helped me to know, yes, I am pregnant. Now, I just do want to mention that in hindsight, as I'm making this video, it sounds like I have some very obvious pregnancy symptoms like every single day. But at that time, like when I was writing in my journal, every single day I was doubting whether I was pregnant or not. Like I thought, is this a pregnancy symptom or is it, I got the flu? Is this a pregnancy symptom or is my period coming? Like you will constantly doubt yourself. So I encourage you, if you can, to like write a journal and definitely make some notes down, like what symptoms you're having, even if they could just be nothing. It could just be a normal thing that happens. Just write it down anyway, because in hindsight you will look back and you'll say, oh yeah, I definitely was pregnant, So again, I hope you enjoyed this video. I'm gonna put the video of me and my husband, our reaction to when we found out I was actually pregnant. And I will make another video later on how we conceived the first time of trying. So if you're interested in watching that, yeah, check out my other videos. Oh yeah, and if you liked this video, give it a big thumbs up and be sure to click that subscribe button. See you next time. Okay.